take you on a digital journey, and for that I'm going to need your help. So when I say, but then, I'm going to need you to say the channel changes. We can do a run through now, just like nearly our week. You're not slipping on me. But then,
the channel changes.
Nice, okay. See, ours is an interesting story. A black British history, this diaspora's tales, just like the Anansi's of our childhood, are intricately spun. Our British identities intersect with nations and islands formed all under this sun. Imagine and take a journey with me. You turn on an old box set and watch as these black and white grains, static silhouettes, stutters, stagger onto the dark vortex that is your TV screen. But then,
the channel changes
and shows us our shared memories of a Sophia in London. We remember how even if you weren't a British, Nigerian or Ghanaian, by default you were conscripted, recruited and forced to pick a side, long grain, sticky basmati rice, you couldn't hide it. We are as old as the borrowed rivalry of our jollof rice wars, and we fought them with pride. But then, and we're going back in time, let's rewind, switching channels from the 90s to the noughties. Old sitcoms from Desmond to Little Miss Jocelyn juggling her accents on our TV screens. Old films forgotten, fallen figures flickering like flames through lost memory to reclaim. Don't let the media deceive you. Before blackness burdened the BBC, before it bolted and broke treaties on broadcasting our Britishness, see, its licenses have been lying since the day they deleted archival evidence of our presence on our TV screens. What if I told you these keys were played by black women? These funky honky-tonk sounds that spun televised white figures round and around? What if I told you her name was Winifred Atwell? But she's remembered not because she couldn't act well, but with accolades upon accolades. It was because her dark skin made their stereotype facts well. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. But then,
the channel changes.
And we're flung right back into the modern day where postcodes have devolved into a battleground. Manon Road moved away from cocoa pops and sugar canes, and he started religiously cocaine, pushing his way to freedom. His sister warns her brother that you can't see a brighter day whilst riding on the back of our mother's broken dreams. We meet a younger. Estate wall jamming, thinking he's the top boy, because this gangland culture has him thinking he's in top boy. That he's the symbol of these pride lands, but take a look at where your pride lands. You've fallen Mufasa, a young king now starved. See, we got new age pipelines to prisons and ladders to ceilings that don't break. Feeding pipe dreams to black boys scheming on crime watch scenes as they bleed out the dark seams of their destinies on these pebble streets. My brother, I know it may not seem like it, but the future really is yours, if you make it. But then,
channel changes.
And we become the corner of a black British girl's house now, in Dalston, Kingsland. A beauty queen, she walks through what is now a nostalgic Kingsland. Black British girlhood is strolling through a series of stalls, watching as a market man tries to convince you that his bright bowls really are worth a pound. Fela Kuti embraces the air, mixing with Gregory Porter's old soul, twisting with the wells of Bob Marley. Independent sounds rise and intertwine, forming the background to the syncopated beats, all found in the air of this market street. But then,
the channel changes.
And the picture shifts back to secondary school, with black boys in our year gathered round the wooden stool, using knuckles and thumbs, pens like drums, and I'm going to take it back. Back to a time before grime and middle-class white kids with ample time, venting on a rhyme scheme, trying to surf hard to Stormzy, but even Monsters Inc. couldn't sneak bow behind the doorframe of that jet ski wave, so how are you going to try creep into a dying genre that was never yours to say? See, our afros beat tunes into this industry, but no, we're not all of us, so don't get it twisted. We just want a little more blackness in this digital food the website did. See, I can't keep my message low-key, and I know a Carla on the mic. I'm just trying to tell our story, and I hope I tell it right. But then, and we find ourselves in Brixton, rioting against a racist institution, historically setting our communities as the firing range for their oppression. But Linton Kwesi Johnson tells it better than me in the year of the Great Insurrection. Shifting focus, the camera shows us how, from the islands of former plantations, our elders came here to plant nations in between the cracks of these cobblestone streets. Redoubling their efforts to rush away with the wind, they bring us where their journeys here. Communities created to turn broken backs into building blocks, but now nostalgia creeps in like a shuddering clock, because we watch blue baton bruises spread through our Brixton. But then, and she's honestly tired of hearing about concrete jungles and red bricks, because they don't build for permanence anymore. Instead, Starbucks windows fills our streets whilst gentrified glass manages to bypass the hearts of our communities. We experience architectures of terror on the daily. Tower Hamlet stretches unfazed towards a Canary Wharf that can never save me. But then,
shadow changes.
and in this scene, we know about the hustle in our own kind of way. We're working class, barely managing, but we took it day by day. Growing up, Grandma's silver was always safely tucked away to be replaced by the wooden spoon poised righteously to be our fingertips. These lines reflect the etching out of its wooden usage on the daily hassles of our childhood. We graffiti sprayed silver belt buckle tears back when society's Polaroid perception into our lives only perceived the hard stare that we wore for an uncaring society. But we Black British and we proud, we know our boroughs and our backgrounds better than the backs of our palms as we crisscross through echoing back alleyways. But then,
shadow changes.
and these digital reminiscing slip through my fingertips. Now I'm off to uni, ready to start this new course in my life, one that just might reflect the academic discourse I'd already formed in my life. But on arriving, I realized that I had to click on the search bar to find out what the systems education had failed to teach me. See, I had my search barred, and so I sent myself out as a search party, looking to find the forgotten reflections of myself through history, wading through waters, thirsting for Black British women's work, an existence now made a mysterious history. But then,
shadow changes.
and we see a version of me asking my reflection just how it is that my speech could be free. When it's a descendant of words that don't even recognize me, you say we speak slang until the appropriate time for you to appropriate our tongues, but like Miss Lou said, I guess we've come to colonize in reverse, like, hey God, I am here inciting rhyme to riot, and I'm telling it quiet. And I'm telling it quiet. See, we're made to be Black British. But what if I told you our history didn't just start in the Windrush 60s, that we can take it back all the way back to the 16th century? Would you believe me? What if I told you of Sarah Ford's Bernetta Davies, the young Yoruba girl now known as Queen Victoria's black goddaughter? Or of 18th century Olaude Equiano, a former slave who bought his freedom and wrote for days for other slaves to try to free them? But then,
shadow changes.
and we're back to reality. So please, turn off your TV and just listen to me. See, I didn't just come here to list off hidden historical figures because I figure we are still living, still breathing testimonies of our excellence. We are the histories of tomorrow in the making, so remember this whenever they make King or Mandela the exceptions to their rule. The only narrative that they'd ever let you be taught in British schools. That we are Black, that we are British, and we are fully exceptional. So remember my diaspora, because we deadly and dangerous. It's not enough just to hear me say it, you've got to research, relearn, and go right ahead and reclaim it. Because when we know our history, just know that there will never be even a remote chance that any channel could ever change us.